This is the Popular Apocrypha Podcast, episode 22, Robin Hood, for April 23rd, 2018.
Welcome to the Popular Apocrypha Podcast. My name is Tyler, and my fellow horsemen are...
Sick Riley.
And...
Somewhat well, but also disgusted Logan.
if this is your first time tuning in, I just want to personally say thank you. You there sitting, standing, running in place on a treadmill at 2 a.m. because you can't get the thought of what inside-out watermelons would look like out of your head.
I wouldn't call that running in place.
You are the reason we make this podcast. Dude. Thank you, Logan. That's a fair point.
An inside-out watermelon.
Dude.
That would go bad so fast, but you could just eat it whole.
Yeah.
And then...
It'd be like a pit, though.
Yeah, and then the pit left over, you could just throw it away.
Yeah.
What if there's another watermelon inside?
But nobody ever finds it.
But no one ever looks inside to find out.
And then you just like put it on a steak.
On a steak?
On a steak, and then just like eat around it. Because you don't want to get your hands sticky.
Oh, like watermelon on a stick?
Yeah.
See, so this is the thought that I had earlier. So if this is your first time joining us, what we do each episode is we take a fictional character from pop culture. It could be a movie, video game, comic, TV show, whatever. And we workshop them. What?
Myths and legends.
Did you call us horsemen?
Horsemen.
Are you calling us whores?
I mean, yes, but that's beside the... So we take these fictional characters and we workshop them, cutting off characteristics and context that we don't like and splicing on new and exciting improvements.
Yeah, it's like that movie Splice, but with less sex.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if sex is quite the right term.
For what happened in Splice or for what we do?
Either.
Yes.
This week we'll be talking about the classic character Robin Hood.
Robin Hood!
Before we get to that, I need to say thanks to Audible for sponsoring this podcast. More on them later. But before we get to that, how has the week been?
A split Robin's arrow in twain!
Splice!
I'm sorry, I'm in an interesting mood.
Yeah, I'm tired and sick.
I'm happy that I'm not sick because I was extremely sick yesterday. But I'm better now.
That leaves just you, Tyler.
That leaves just
you. Odd man out.
I'm just here. That's kind of generally, I'm just here.
Whoa, that's not true. I love you.
Oh, I'm here and loved.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's all we can ask for.
Wow, hashtag deep.
To be present and loved.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Didn't expect that for today, did you?
So let's play a game. I have a game for you guys. Since we're discussing Robin Hood.
Let's play a game.
This is a game.
It's Jigsaw.
Oh, no,
is he on the pit?
No.
He should be on the pit.
He should be in the pit. I've never seen any of those movies.
Let's play a game.
Neither I. That's from the Saw movie?
Yeah.
I mean, if one of our listeners thinks that we should take on Jigsaw, they should say that we should take on Jigsaw.
Yeah, then we would have to watch
then we'll do it.
all the movies.
Yeah, we would literally have to.
Yeah, I'd be okay with it.
Yep.
I just bring a barf bag. But I have a weak stomach.
Like me during A Quiet Place.
Oh my god.
I was literally gripping my forehead with my hands covering, like kind of covering my eyes, but my fingers were spread so I could still see the screen, and just like gripping, like my fingers left indents in my forehead at the end of the film.
You know, I was literally,
I'm not kidding.
I was white knuckle, like gripping the sides of my chair the whole time. It was an hour and a half of nausea.
But hashtag not Spawn.
But John Krasinski is a genius.
Yes, I saw an amazing meme on Reddit of him. So it was like him through the years. So through The Office,
yeah.
It was a picture of him the first year, Jim. It said Jim. Next was a picture of him season 5, James. And then a picture of him from A Quiet Place, Jimothy.
Because of his beard or whatever? Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
So the game that I have for you guys to play is a game where you'll be given an opportunity to steal a word from one another and then give them a different one. So I'll be giving each of you a prompt, and you will have 30 seconds to act that scenario out however you like. But whenever I ring a bell, your opponent will steal the last word that you spoke and replace it with a new one.
You guys have such wonderful games all the time.
So we're playing the whatever the game was from Pitch Perfect.
Huh?
I actually don't know
I
what you're
haven't watched
talking
Pitch
about.
Perfect.
What?
Sorry.
I think I've seen it.
You guys were yelling at me for not seeing A Quiet Place, and you guys haven't seen Pitch Perfect.
No, I've seen it. It's just been a long time. I've only seen it once. So.
The Riff-Off, that's what it was called.
Pitch Perfect 1, 2, or 3.
Is that what it is?
I actually haven't seen 3. Just 1, I meant.
I think I saw 2 on like a bus trip somewhere.
Yeah.
2 is literally the exact same as 1. But that's besides the
twice as
point.
much.
With more Germans, right?
What?
Something like
Oh yeah, with Flula in it.
that. Sure. Yep, Flula. You know, classic Flula.
He's a YouTuber.
Oh.
Yeah.
You go, Flula. I don't know. So, your job will be to make whatever your opponent's word that they introduce to you, because they stole that other word, you have to try to make that fit seamlessly into your story as well as you can. You know, the goal for when you're not acting out your part, your prompt, is to try to mess up the other person whenever I ring the bell. So
Change.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
as soon as you ring the bell, the other person says a word.
yeah,
And
it replaces a word that you just spoke. So you back up a word and then insert their word and keep going.
okay.
All right,
Cool.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So who'd like to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I just want to get out of the way. I'm anxious.
You are the secretary for the President of the United States.
Oh.
The personal
Wait,
secretary.
This. Oh, okay. Not the Secretary of State.
No, the personal secretary for the President of the United States. And have a
one?
constant fear that you forgot to put deodorant on. Your desk is filled with used deodorant containers, and you have a meeting with the cabinet in 2 minutes. So that's your prompt. You have to act that out.
I have to act it out, like verbally.
Like verbally, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you may begin whenever you are ready, and I will ring the bell whenever I want.
Okay.
Okay, and go ahead.
Oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm all out of deodorant, but oh wait, I remember I have all these used deodorant sticks in my desk.
Sticks.
What? I thought he said desk.
Or desk. Okay, desk is out. Replace it.
What am I?
Use deodorant sticks in his.
Duffel bag.
Deodorant duffel bag? Okay. I have all these used deodorant duffel bags in these desks that I can use to like pull out I've probably got some like leftovers in there somewhere, so let me just open up the desk and look inside. I guess I got, oh yeah, here's a huge duffel bag with some leftover deodorant in here. Let me scrape it out, just scraping it out, slapping it on my pits, rubbing it around. Ooh, my pits are pretty sweaty and they're pretty stinky. Alright.
Time.
Oh, I'm out?
Yep, you're out of time.
Okay.
I didn't know what I was replacing exactly.
Okay. So, I'm going to use that as our warm-up round.
Okay.
So that we can go again.
Okay.
I'll give you another prompt, but we'll switch it over to Logan, so
Okay.
Logan can go.
Okay.
Are there any questions? Do I need to clarify the game or anything? Like
So
how that
as
works?
soon as you ring it,
soon as I-
I give a word that replaces the last word that he
Yes.
said, and then he rewinds and goes.
And,
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, so it's kind of like change, but for the last word.
Yeah, just the
Okay.
last word.
Okay, I
All
got
right.
it now.
So whenever
Just
you're
like
ready,
that.
go ahead.
Hold on. I'm ready.
Okay. Oh, right. I have to give
Yeah.
you the prompt.
Oh, I'm doing a
So
podcast.
you have recently fallen in love for the first time when you are taken to the doctor's office with abdominal pain. You have just been diagnosed just moments ago with literally having butterflies in your stomach.
Ooh.
Your girlfriend will arrive in less than 1 minute, and you're going to have to either hide this from her or tell her what's going on.
Wait. I had a girlfriend before, but I didn't fall in love with her.
So you've had a girlfriend, and you've
Okay.
fallen in love with her for the first time.
Okay.
And now
Yeah,
you
before you
have
just-
butterflies in your stomach.
Using her for a body.
No, that's not how dating works.
I mean, that could be how dating
I mean,
works.
that's no.
Ugh. Looking at you, Tinder.
Does that make sense? You've fallen in love. Your girlfriend's coming.
In this mythical universe,
You have
you're not in
butterflies
love
in your
until you have butterflies in your stomach.
And you're
But she
not
doesn't
in
have
love
butterflies
until,
in her
like several
stomach yet.
months into the dating relationship.
I'm not giving you that much. Riley's giving you extra stuff.
We're not world building here.
I'm in the doctor's office with butterflies in my stomach.
Yes, your girlfriend is coming.
Yeah, it's a terminal condition. It's serious, Doc.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead whenever you're ready.
Okay. Oh God! Oh God! What? Get him out of me, Doc!
Mom.
Get him out of me, Mom!
Are you my mom? Where'd you come from? Do you know my girlfriend?
Record.
Do you know my record? This is the Eiffel 65 for the blue dabba dee dabba die. I got it in vinyl. Maybe I'll eat it and get the butterflies out of my stomach.
intestines.
We'll get the butterflies out of my intestines. They moved on. They're like fiber. They moved on. I can't digest them. Maybe they'll just come out in my stools. Mom, help me.
Replacing stools.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Seat.
Maybe they'll come out in my seat, this doctor's seat that I'm just here. That's also in me. I just also ate that.
Wow.
Okay. Ooh, I'm lightheaded.
Nice work.
I'm not used to
Nice
shouting.
work.
Brilliant.
Oh gosh.
Excellent performance.
That was very well done.
Yeah.
Props to Logan for that. All
My
right.
girlfriend never came. Hashtag relatable.
Guess what episode's getting the explicit tag?
Well, I mean,
This one.
I could have had 2 definitions.
Yeah.
And now
I invited her to a lot of stuff. She never came to them. That is honestly true.
Oh.
Okay. Riley, here's your new prompt. Are you ready?
I think so.
Okay. So, you are a musician in a local band. You just got your first gig at a coffee shop.
Ooh.
However, also during the same time as your gig is a protest against music. Whenever you're ready, you may begin.
Wait, so am I at the gig?
Let's have it be you are trying to unload your stuff and the protest is going on already.
Also relatable.
So you're trying to set it up.
Okay.
All right. Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Hey man, it looks pretty crazy out here. What's going on? I'm trying to read their signs. Oh, they have a giant cross out for
Peach.
They have a giant
Each.
cross. They have a giant cross out peach on all their signs. I'm not really sure what that means. But it looks like they don't really. Oh, another one says they don't like. Oh, they're protesting music, man. What?
One of those white curly judge wigs.
They're protesting one of those white curly judge wigs, man. I'm so confused, brother. I don't know what they're actually against. There's peaches and wigs out here, but all right, man. I'm just gonna go, put our stuff inside, and I step up to the back door. Oh, there's a dude here keeping me from.
What word am I?
Dude, what's what it's supposed to be.
Okay. The Nickelback song about the photograph.
There's a Nickelback song about the photograph here.
Yes.
Okay.
There's a Nickelback song about the photograph here, man. It looks like they like some good music out here, bud. So I think I'm ready to play. Whoosh.
Sound effect.
Oh man, the protesters look like they really didn't like that, man. Oh, what are they?
Time. That was something else.
Hey man.
That Nickelback song about the photograph. That was good. All right. If you would like to give me a prompt,
Oh.
there's the bell.
Okay. Let's bounce it off each other and create a good prompt.
Create a dual prompt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's got to be oddly specific, Mm-hmm. Okay. He is at a
Barbecue.
Okay. And
he is cooking baby back ribs for the first time. Mm-hmm. But
the Queen of England shows up.
And she's vegan. Convince her to try your ribs.
Or just she's there, she's hungry.
Yes.
What are you gonna do?
Welcome her.
Okay.
And who's...
Oh, yeah.
I guess we could switch off giving him words
Yeah.
every time the bell rings.
Okay.
Alright. Let's go.
Milady, thank you for joining me this fine Saturday. I believe that these were made particularly for you. These baby back ribs, they're made...
Baby back ribs is what we're changing.
The Apollo 11 spacecraft.
You know that America made the Apollo 11 spacecraft specifically for you, milady. But these baby back ribs will have to suffice for today.
Suffice.
Melt.
these baby back ribs will have to melt your insides because, you know, you're vegan, and that's what happens to vegans when they eat meat.
Oh my god!
Meat melts the vegan's insides, my lady. But, you know, the secret to these baby back ribs is that they're actually made from babies' backs.
Baby's backs.
Nicolas Cage.
The secret is that they're actually made from Nicolas Cage's...
Nicolas Cage.
Christmas ornaments.
The secret to these are that they're actually made from Christmas ornaments that have been melted down. So you won't have your insides melted because they're not baby back ribs after all.
Nice work.
It's good. I think she would take some baby back ribs after that.
I think she would.
I think she would.
I think Christmas ornaments are
Instead of the
vegan.
Christmas ornaments?
I think they're vegan.
Well, that depends on where you get them.
Christmas ornaments?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, candy canes count as Christmas ornaments in some places. Some families. So, baby back ribs made of Christmas ornaments.
Isn't there beetle shells, though, in, like, the red food coloring in candy canes?
Yeah.
There's probably, I mean, in an average Hershey's chocolate bar, there's like 3 spider's legs or something like that. So,
It's just protein.
yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah. Bugs are the meat of the future.
Or it's probably true.
Yeah.
Bugs are the meat of the present.
Look, it's like, why are you waiting?
2018, I'm
The
living
future is now.
Crunchy.
So I think I have to say, if you would agree, I think that Logan won that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
oh, for sure.
I didn't
Your
realize it was a
performance
competition.
was life is a competition, Logan.
Yeah, we're all racing to get to the finish line first. That's really dark.
What is the finish line, Riley? Retirement.
Success in life. For some people, that's getting married. Some people, that's waking up in the morning.
I love how you gestured to Tyler when you said getting married. You gestured to me when you said getting up in the morning.
It was super subconscious. I apologize.
But you admit that it was subconscious.
It was still intended. I'm sorry. I love you, Logan. I just need to go now.
I mean, that's kind of true in some cases. I mean, yesterday I was super sick, so it's like, please, just can I fall asleep and get rid of this cold?
True. Let's go with that.
Yep.
So today we're talking about Robin Hood,
Robin of the Hood.
Robin Hood.
otherwise known as
Forest.
Stealin' Cul-de-sac.
What?
Robin Hood.
I'm gonna go home. Wait, I am home.
Cul-de-sac. Or Burglar District is the legendary personification of a moral dilemma. He steals from the rich and gives to the poor. What's wrong with that? There's a canon of ballads and stories and novels and movies and video games and all sorts of things and all sorts of other derivative works and fan fiction and like romance novels about Robin Hood. He's widely known as being primarily a highly skilled archer and swordsman. Sometimes in some stories he comes from being of noble birth and fought in the Crusades before returning to England to find it in disarray. And in other works he's instead born into the yeoman, like more farming hunter type class of people. Almost always he wears his green tights and loose shirt or some variation thereof.
For aerodynamics.
For flexibility.
And he's almost always hiding from the corrupt law enforcement in the Sherwood Forest with his right hand Little John and the rest of the merry men, his fellow outlaws. His primary opponents, the antagonists of his story, include the Sheriff of Nottingham and sometimes Prince John, who is trying to use the Sheriff of Nottingham in an effort to usurp the throne from King Richard, who is usually away in the Crusades. Robin Hood's main love interest is Maid Marian. Common personality attributes of Robin Hood are assumed that he is a champion of the common people, he fights against injustice, he is loyal to true Britain, not the corrupt Britain, and its rightful ruler, therefore, and is a fox, both literally and figuratively.
Yeah, the Disney movie.
Yeah, that was my favorite Disney movie. Still is.
Same,
Still is my
dude.
favorite.
Same.
I mean, my sexual awakening may have been with the female fox Maid Marian.
Please don't.
But
I don't want to know.
So you're a furry, is what you're saying.
no.
Do you wonder
Nothing
how
wrong
many
with
people...
that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Just not who I subscribe to.
That's not
Do
me.
you wonder how many people became furries after seeing
I have wondered that
Robin Hood
before, yes.
and also Zootopia?
I heard that there was a statistic run about that. I don't know what it is, but that says something along.
Also, question: do you think that Robin Hood and Zootopia take place in the same universe?
No,
Really?
really.
Why is that?
Because I think that Robin Hood would never have allowed such a society to come about. I think it's a dystopian future.
But he
That's like
died.
600 years
Yeah.
later.
Not that you don't know.
It's just
Could be the
theories,
exact
dude.
same time. You don't know.
They might have
Oh.
invested in a lot of great engineers and upped their science research and then picked the right technologies. It's a
We're not playing
it's a
Civ.
reference. Sorry, that's a really old game.
So that's Robin Hood. I mean, there are a lot of variations, and there are a lot of romance novels about Robin Hood.
Yeah. I didn't know he was a good swordsman. I just thought he was a good archer. But I
Yeah.
guess that would make sense that he's a good fighter.
Yeah, I feel like he's always like fencing with the sheriff of Nottingham, like in the climax of whatever he's in,
Yeah.
and like
Was
takes
it-
advantage of him by like pulling his hat over his face or something,
Yeah. It's usually
kicking him
comedic,
down some
right?
stairs.
Yeah.
That's a lot of Robin Hood stories I've seen are like comedic in nature, like the kind of Three Stooges humor,
Right.
Yeah.
Not Russell Crowe.
Well, oh, yeah.
Or like
Well,
the
it's-
Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
It's like he can think far enough ahead that he can take time to be funny.
Yeah.
It's not like he's just
He's
by
just
the
like
skin of his nails, like trying to get away. Like, he's like, I'm already 3 steps ahead.
Yeah. He's very much like a legend of the people.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And also, I think this might be the first character that we've had that might have had like truth, possibly.
I looked into that. So there's nothing confirmed.
Right.
There are about 20 different possible historic figures that could have been Robin Hood. So maybe the case is more so that Robin Hood as a singular figure didn't exist, but Robin Hoods may have existed. So
Or a secret
multiple
society.
sorts of they're usually really disconnected, but like multiple sorts of the same sort of people fighting for the common folk, stealing from the rich and giving it to the poor.
Interesting.
or just accidentally giving it to the poor.
Yeah.
Thus the legend was born.
Whoops. That'd be cool if like we confirmed that and made it like almost like an Assassin's Creed Brotherhood where like they all are the same, like the people all see them as the same person, but there's actually like 5 or 6 different people that are Robin Hood.
So less Assassin's Creed, more Dread Pirate Roberts. Is that right? Dread Pirate Roberts from the Princess Bride.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
There's
yeah.
always someone that is
That is Dread
Roberts.
Pirate Roberts.
I haven't seen that in such a long time. I
Yeah,
would
no,
know.
exactly like that. Like there is always a Robin Hood, but it changes.
It's a title. It's like
It's
Batman.
like James Bond.
Oh. Well,
Debatably. Debatably.
James Bond is kind of supposed to be the same character. It's not supposed to be a title.
There's debate about it. The 007 is a code name, not a
Well, 007 is, but James Bond isn't.
yeah. Well, it's like an external theory that explains why all the Bonds change.
Well, yeah.
But still keeps it consistent within the same universe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, it's not just the actors getting old, it's that literally James Bond as the character is being switched out.
So suppose that that's true, that actually has happened in real life. Who is Robin Hood today?
Today?
Yeah. Who if that was
Bernie
actually
Sanders. Just kidding. It's not Bernie
true.
Sanders.
I'm imagining Bernie Sanders in green tights and that like the shirt and the hat, the green hat, like with a little tiny bow and arrow, like meh.
Logan, can you do your Bernie Sanders impression? Don't you have one?
Oh, I can
I think
do
it's
like
pretty good.
It's like doing the shoulder thing because he raises his shoulders up a
For
lot.
those of you at home and you can't see, he's basically like
The middle class. I can't.
he's like shrunk his
New
head
York.
down beneath his shoulders.
Forget about the damn email.
That was good.
I haven't done it in a while, so
He's lost relevancy because he lost.
it's very Brooklyn,
Yeah,
very deep
very,
Brooklyn.
very.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask this: real life today, who is doing the stealing from the rich?
See, I kind of want to say anonymous, but I feel like that would be a little bit like.
But do they really like give to the poor?
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why does it have to be current?
Yeah.
That's true.
It doesn't have to be modern. I kind of like it being old timey.
So, but like, then when was there a last Robin Hood?
Like the last Avatar. When the line
The
was
TV
broken.
series,
Yeah.
obviously. I mean, the only content that exists about the last Avatar.
Oh well.
Yeah.
I mean that makes sense. That like if you're like
Green Arrow.
Well, like if Robin Hood, the line, like continued into modern day, I think that's what you're trying to get at, right? Like if it was established, like the order was established, and like who is still, it's like Freemasons, but only one person holds the title, and then the merry men are those that keep the secret of the society.
What if it's Sasquatch?
Is Robin Hood?
Mm-hmm. A modern legend? Or the Loch Ness Monster? What if it's actually a submarine housing like the Legion of Robin Hood?
The merry men.
The merry men. The merry monster.
I'm really trying to come up with a good pun about that. I got nothing, guys.
So I kind of had a thought kind of related to that. I was thinking, like, before we were doing this, or before the podcast, before we were recording, that, like, what if Robin Hood, like, in the fiction, never actually existed? But he's just kind of a name, like you know how, like, car salesmen will be like, oh, like, I gotta go talk to the boss but they're not talking to the boss or anything.
They just go away,
what if, like,
get some coffee.
Know that this has been the work of Robin Hood, but nobody actually sees Robin Hood, and Robin Hood doesn't actually exist.
So then it's like, it's really just like the merry men exist, but Robin Hood doesn't.
Yeah.
They like attribute it to their fake founder sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. And so that's why, like, all the sheriff of Nottingham, like, want to get Robin Hood, but he's, like, always escaping, but he's never existed, so they can never get him.
What if Robin Hood... I'm tracking with that. What if Robin Hood does exist, but isn't who he's claimed to be? So what if, say, maybe Robin Hood is like this kid that they claim the merry men go out and they do these acts, they steal from the rich, give to the poor, and like they attribute it to Robin Hood in honor of like this kid with maybe like a kid with like a disability that got the merry men together, but is not able to actually go out and fight the good fight.
Oh, so he's kind of like a Godfather type.
Yeah, basically.
Well, then do you get rid of all the stories where the sheriff of Nottingham fights Robin Hood, or like Robin Hood is disguised as someone, and like
I don't know. Well, maybe like someone will like take on the mantle and like pretend to be Robin Hood.
It's kind of like
when they need to like make a point, or like when they need to like kind of cement the legend.
Right. I like that.
It sounds a lot like a superhero title.
That's the kind of I'm watching Arrow now. Like that's kind of like what's happened in there, because like they've had to like switch identities sometimes.
Or there's like 5 different Robins.
Yeah,
but they're all
that
Robin. Yeah. Where like different people hold the mantle at different times. I really like, however it cements itself. I really like this idea of Robin Hood being a brotherhood, or like a moniker that people attribute things to.
You're right. It's better if it's actually not a single person in reality.
Because then it makes it more mysterious. Like, and that would what's cool about that is that lets Robin Hood be anything. Like if you want Robin Hood to break into something and like steal everything and not be seen, pick the stealthiest guy. Or if you want Robin Hood to be like to literally like knock out the sheriff of Nottingham with a single punch, pick your strongest dude, and that's Robin Hood. You know what I mean? Like if you ever need a job done, Robin Hood does it, and then he's the best at it because you can give that title to anyone.
That's true. And so the legend goes that like he can do anything.
He literally do anything. Yeah,
that's cool.
So he's unstoppable.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the merry men are like, the best of the best.
And if one of them gets killed or something, then he's like, oh,
Robin
he's back.
Doesn't die.
He never dies.
Yeah.
I
thought we killed him.
Yeah, exactly. He takes on this like ethereal presence.
Yeah, you're right. It shouldn't be like some kid. You're right. It should be, there is no single person that is Robin Hood. But then, where does Robin Hood come from originally? What's the origin of Robin Hood?
I mean, like as far as I don't know what you want to do about origins. You guys are a lot better at origins, but I think that because he's, like, you call him Robin Hood, so like the fact that he wears like a hood and then like a face wrap, like he's called Robin Hood because he wears a hood, and that's how he's able to no one's able to know who he is.
Oh, I see.
And then if he has he or she even has to have a moment where like they infiltrate a ball or whatever, like no one knows who Robin Hood is.
Right. Makes it a lot easier. But that means that Robin Hood is always known as being expert archer and swordsman. So that means all of the merry men need to be expert archers and swordsmen.
Well, I think their camp gets invaded a couple times in some of the legends, right? Yeah. So they're all like good at that. But if there's specific skills,
like they're outlaws, so like they have to be pretty good at like fighting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And probably hunting too. So
Usually disguise is also like stealth is usually at least part of it.
put on some like crane.
Ghillie suit.
Yeah, I'm just putting it out there. We don't have to go with this, but I feel like there should be something that sets the Robin Hood mantle apart. Like, yeah, everyone can share it, but I feel like there should be something where, like, once
You need to earn it.
Well, that, and once you, like, you put on the Robin Hood, you get, like, the experiences of all the past Robin Hoods.
Oh, so you're saying it's like some sort of cloak that like has some sort of spiritual thing.
Sort of, yeah. But, like, you still have your own, like...
Or it's like the Black Panther like juice.
Kind of. I haven't
Yeah.
seen Black Panther.
No, that's a good analogy.
It comes from a flower, and like every king, I think, gets a drink of the flower, and they gain the Black Panther strength.
And they like go into the like a sort of like a spirit vision of sorts, and they go and talk with their ancestors. And like whether or not they're actually talking with their ancestors or it's like all in their head, that doesn't matter, because like what it does for them as people is functionally that's what it is. So
That'd be interesting. Less that it, like, gives them special powers, because I still want it to be like, oh, like, this person has to be the Robin Hood right now because they have this set of skills, but more like maybe it lets them, I don't know, like, something that Robin Hood would need, like, slow down time, or you know, like, something that any Robin Hood, like, any Robin Hood that takes on the Robin Hood wouldn't have naturally. But not like an overpowered power.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I see what you mean.
I want to move to not do that personally.
Really?
Because for a particular reason. Because Robin Hood is supposed to be the symbol of the common person.
That's true.
And there's supposed to be the, like, that Robin Hood could be me if I could stand up for myself.
And he literally could be you if you
He
became
literally
part of the
could.
Merry Men.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I kind of like the idea, personally, of trying to keep as much, like, keep Robin Hood as natural as possible, personally. But I can see how that would be useful, certainly.
Can I share an idea before we get too far?
Yeah.
Kind of an out there idea.
Mine was out there.
Robin Hood is a tree.
Robin?
Hear me out. Because, like, you know, they can never catch him, so he runs into Sherwood Forest. He becomes a tree because he, like, is some sort of tree nymph or something.
Okay.
And that's how he escapes from things. That was just an out there idea. I
So-
just wanted to get it off my chest because I thought it was funny.
Robin Hood is like a magical creature.
Yeah, but I
What
like the
if-
idea if he's common.
The Sherwood Forest, because the Sherwood Forest is almost always part of the Robin Hood tale. Usually, almost always part of it. So what if the forest is sort of more like that it assists the Robin Hood, the Merry Men, in what they do, rather than an item or something like that. It's kind of an entity. It's not like sentient, but like it just happens to, like, sort of like a labyrinth. Like, it can move a little bit, kind of reconstruct and help hide them and help
That'd be cool.
get them to escape. And
Or if the hood was like made from plant fibers from the trees. So like if you are wearing the hood, like, you can kind of bend the forest to your will. That'd be cool for, like, if he's escaping, he or she is escaping, they can like
I feel like the trees should be their own entity, though.
I think so.
like the Sherwood Forest.
Yeah.
I agree, and I also think that the Robin Hood, the Merry Men, and Sherwood Forest should all be intricately connected. Like,
What if they make their stuff out of, like, their bows, everything, like, out of the Sherwood Forest? Because, you know, whatever resources they have.
Right.
And because of that, unbeknownst to them, that does create, like, a connection between the Merry Men and the Sherwood Forest. Because like, they're not going to be, like, tearing down the forest to, like, make stuff for themselves, but they're caring for it, scavenging what they need, that sort of thing. Protecting the forest, often.
For sure. Yeah.
Happy Earth Day.
Happy Earth Day. Topical. To go back to what I love all this stuff. I think to go back to what Tyler was saying, there did have to be an original Robin Hood. You know, like the Merry Men had to get together, or just a Robin Hood had to get together and start the Merry Men. It's like the chicken or the egg thing. Like, did the Merry Men make a Robin Hood, or did Robin Hood come about and then the Merry Men came about? You know what I mean? So,
or what if it's just like one of those things where, like, they're like, "Who are you, outlaw? So we can put you on our wanted posters." And then they do the thing where they, like, look around for, like, stuff to make a name out of. They say, Rob. That guy's name is Rob. Then they see an N. They see, like, somebody's cloak with their hood up. Hood. Robin Hood?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, that is
That.
me.
Yeah.
Or similarly, what they're doing. I'm Robin the Hood.
Oh, Robin the Hood.
But they mishear it. Robin Hood?
Or like the hood that the Robin Hood wears is like made out of robin feathers. And so it's the literal like Robin Hood.
It's
That would
literally
look
just like
ridiculous.
a chicken head that you like pull over your head.
Yeah.
I'm going to quickly Google search robin feathers and see how ridiculous that would look.
They're tiny.
They're pretty small.
Yeah, so think of how like intricate it would look. That would look sick. I'm sorry, but it would look really cool. Like a whole like hood made out of that.
I just...
How would you make a hook? I mean,
For those of you at home, just
possible.
Google search robin feathers.
I'm sorry. Anything made out of just straight feathers as a clothing item,
I guess that's
kind of
true.
looks ridiculous
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
Well, and like, there's all those. I'm just thinking about how cool it is to have him be multiple people. Like, there's all those things where like he's acting as someone else, like he's disguised as someone else, but really he is someone else.
Maybe like the original like founders of the quote unquote Merry Men or Robin Hood, like each of their first names was like spells out like R-O-B-I-N.
Huh. Like the original Merry Men.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Though I don't know if that would be accurate to like Middle English or whenever the legend came about.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Make it that way.
Which is what we want.
Yeah.
Change the language.
So the original Merry Men came together and like basically made an anagram or whatever that is of
Yeah.
their initials.
Or like, don't some bands like choose like one like a person name, but no one actually has that
Yeah.
name. Like
I can't think of an example, but
Yeah.
they do exist. I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
I
So
don't know.
they started out as a group of traveling bards, is what I'm hearing you say.
I like what they were in Nottingham. They were being taken advantage of by the sheriff.
Simple farmers.
Yeah,
or-
and they're like probably like teenagers to 20-year-olds or
Right.
something, and they were like, no, let's take this town back.
Yeah,
Let's
our
let's-
town.
Yeah. Well, let's take from the rich and give to the poor, that kind of thing. But-
What if we add in somehow an element of a little bit darker, sort of, what if like the sheriff of Nottingham's son
Ooh.
was the original, like was one or at least one of the original, and like he was the one that really saw what was happening, because maybe the sheriff of Nottingham was clever and actually was able to hide like his scheming and hide how he was hurting the village, but then his son sees this and like brings it forward to the original Merry Men, the townsfolk
It
basically.
was just his friends.
Yeah.
His like close group of friends.
Right. And goes, guys, this is what's happening right now. And thus the Merry Men take it back.
What was like the rhyme, the swearing rhyme that like the turtle had to say in the animated one?
Swearing rhyme?
Yeah, like the I won't tell anyone or I'll die till I'm dead or something like that.
Oh.
You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I kind of know what you're talking about.
Vaguely.
Like how he swore that he would
keep a secret. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, that was the little bunny dude, right? That said
It
that?
was one of the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could, if we want to go darker. If we want to go down this dark train.
The son
Please.
that died.
Yeah, no.
His ghost.
So the sheriff's son was like his like maybe he really liked to climb trees or whatever, and so like the friend's nickname for him was Robin.
Okay,
he was like
that
a
makes
bird
sense.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And then like in going out every night to try to counter the sheriff's schemes, the sheriff learns of this outlaw and this group behind him. Little do they know that they're like sharing this mantle. And it just so happened that when he took up the mantle, the sheriff like kills him or like fatally injures him, but he dies in the woods, right, amongst his friends. And so now it's literally Robin's hood that they wear every time in
The son of
honor
the sheriff of
him.
Nottingham.
And the sheriff, thinking that Robin stole his son or like killed his son because his
Right.
son never came back,
Right.
is now constantly after Robin Hood, not just because he's thwarting his schemes, but because he's like, you killed my son. And so now you're a murderer, but the people know the truth, but like the sheriff doesn't.
Well, the town may not necessarily.
I don't think the town would know. Only the Merry Men would know.
That's
Which is,
true.
I mean, they're part of the town, but they're for the others in
Right.
the town.
But what it becomes is just the sheriff like bad mouthing Robin Hood, and the people are like, no, he wouldn't do that. because he actually like helps us out.
Well,
Right.
maybe it's kind of a dilemma for the town because like some of them are like, oh, they're like domestic terrorists basically,
Yeah.
or you know, they're gonna help us.
Right.
Like,
What do
do the ends justify the means? Are the merry men, is Robin Hood, is this right for them to be, you know, doing that? And I'm sure that the Sheriff of Nottingham would have some people that would believe him, and those would
Oh, yeah.
become the people that helped him,
True.
help the sheriff.
True.
I mean, they're you know, roadside robbers. So
Also that.
Yeah.
yeah.
There's also chaos.
So it's literally, yeah.
But no, I feel like we got it. Like, that's...
Super dark!
I do have one question.
Yeah,
What
please.
about Maid Marian?
Good one.
Which one is she in love with?
All
Or
of
is
them.
she like the kind of the Spider-Man thing
Can
where
she
she's in
please
love
be
with
blind?
with the idea of what?
That sounds weird when I say
Pardon
it.
me?
But no, what if she especially can't tell them apart? Like, what if like she is like blind
No
and
one
deaf?
can tell them apart. That's the point.
That's true. That's
At least
that's
from like a
just
distance,
excessive,
like
yeah.
kind of a superhero thing.
What if she was this? What if she's the daughter of the Sheriff of Nottingham, and she's not necessarily like in love with the Robin Hood, but she wants to find out the truth because she doesn't believe her father, but she also doesn't trust the merry men. So she's also trying to find out the truth about what happened to her brother.
You
So
can,
what you're
like-
saying is she falls in love with her brother.
No.
So
No.
what I'm hearing is
I'm removing the romantic component.
you could, yeah, like I mean, unless it's pivotal to the story, but you could make Maid Marian's relationship to the Robin Hood that of like in comic books, like the person that's actively trying to figure out who the superhero is.
Right. Exactly.
Versus actually being in love with them. And so then, like, Maid Marian's dynamic with Robin Hood is no longer that of love, but rather a genuine pursuit of the truth. And the sheriff's is just kill him, because he killed my
Because
son.
it's revenge. Like,
Yeah.
it's just blind rage and revenge. Whereas Maid Marian is, trying to figure out what really happened. What's really going on.
Now, see, later on, though, like, when she finds out, like, I feel like in a lot of the legends, she's kind of almost part of the Merry Men.
Yeah.
She's, like, the one on the inside.
Maid Marian could have been in love with the sheriff's son when they were, like, younger.
So not
And when-
related.
Right, no, they're not related.
Yeah, I would vote she's just, like, you know,
Okay.
a noble woman in the court.
Okay.
Like, she was kind of flirting around with with Robin, the, like, sheriff's son, and then when he went missing, like, the sheriff automatically is mad at, like, bent on bloodlust with the Merry Men, and now she's heartbroken, but she doesn't believe that he was killed. She believes something else happened.
And that's how the Nottingham News was started by Maid Marian.
She becomes a reporter. I don't know, man.
I do like that. You're right. Not related, but wants to find out what's really going on. Because then, she does become a confidant for the Merry Men, and maybe she doesn't have quite the full picture. Maybe one of the Merry Men is like her informant that she that he keeps coming and tells her like what's going on, or at least part of what's going on. And
The liaison.
yeah,
She might be into, but
Yeah.
we don't
Then
know.
you can
Conflicted.
have multiple
Yeah.
storylines going on
Yeah.
when each person takes up the mantle.
Like, each member of the Merry Men is in love with Maid Marian.
Oh,
Because that's
geez.
the only woman they see.
Oh, that's so sad.
It's like a love hexagon.
Are there no women in the Merry Men? I mean, we could change it.
I don't remember
they're
any.
all women.
They're all women. I mean, you can do that.
I'm
Yeah.
sure there probably are in some legends. I don't know any.
Yeah.
And there's like Will Scarlet, there was Ellen Dale, there was Little John, there's Friar Tuck.
Little
What if you have
John.
Friar Tuck being in? What if the day comes when like Friar Tuck is the only one who can take on the mantle?
Why?
I don't know. Some situation happens where like the more athletic ones are sick, and so like Fat Friar Tuck has to like
Dude, he could just like barrel down and knock people over, man.
that'd be amazing.
It'd be awesome. And then be like, where'd this come from? Like, where'd Robin Hood become so like beefy? Just knocks people over.
And bald?
And well, he's wearing the
Question
hood.
mark? Okay.
Yeah.
But like it flies off for a
Wind,
second,
yeah.
and then like
And then
They see
the sheriff sees him and it's like, okay, we know Robin Hood is bald. And then the next time they look, they're like, he has hair now.
it must be a wig.
It'd be so confusing. It'd be awesome though.
Yeah.
So just to make sure, we don't want to have any magic whatsoever other than the Force, perhaps.
I would say no magic that is on the side of either side.
So
I
a magic
agree.
that exists outside.
There
of,
could be, but it's like amoral.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could make
And it wouldn't be like the main focus of the story.
No. Not at all.
You could potentially make the Sherwood Forest and the entities, the cities and the Crusades that exist around it, like a conflict in time. Like it never moves beyond that. You know what I mean? Like the magic is that this world will always exist and it will never advance and it will never change. But like the characters and stories that exist within it, you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say?
I'm hearing that you want to make a pocket dimension where
Kind of.
time doesn't advance.
Like the forest itself could
Wouldn't
have
the
done that.
people realize that that's happening?
Or is it
Or
like
wouldn't they know?
Groundhog Day?
I mean, they
when
wouldn't know
they're-
any different necessarily.
when they're living the same day over and over,
Would they
but
be aware
time
of it?
is
Well, like,
advancing.
you know, King Richard, right?
Right.
King Richard never comes back, or like because he's always at the Crusades, or the sheriff is always there because he. Or well, I guess no.
So you
that
want to
wouldn't
make it
work.
kind of like a sitcom where, like in The Big Bang Theory, the elevator is always broken, or
I kind of wanted that.
like
That's
that.
a pretty good analogy, I feel like.
Yeah, it's very good. I thought of that, and then I was like, no, that wouldn't work because then, like, we wouldn't need a bunch of Robin Hoods. Because if one died, it'd just be like, the next day it starts over. But no, let's not do that. Never mind. But I do agree that there should be some form of magic around this, but amoral. Yeah. So what is the magic? Where is it? Is it in the forest?
I think it's like just the forest. Like it is. And it's not
Magic.
even so much like direct like magic. It's just like this
a magical energy.
Yeah, more of a force.
There's a legend that Sherwood Forest is like cursed or something.
Yeah.
Or is somewhere magical. That there's some magic beast somewhere in there.
And then Robin dying in
it's
the
Sasquatch.
forest cemented the Merry Men's ability to navigate the forest.
Well, and they go through there all the time, so like
True.
they would know it inside and out.
So the forest itself is ever changing and moving, but only the Merry Men know how to navigate that because they're in there all the time.
I feel like it would just be, like a confusing forest, right?
I was thinking a little bit more in between personally, where it would be not so much that it's changing all the time. It's not this big magical force. It's more like the inner virtue of the merry men. These people that are always fighting against injustice and are therefore more apt to be like connected to things like nature are going to be more connected to the forest in a less direct magical way, but more like it's more personal way. Like they're personally connected to the forest. So
Yeah.
kind of in between.
Cool.
And like the sheriff's men keep on getting lost so much that it kind of seems like magic.
Right. Yeah.
Like, oh, where'd they go? They got away.
Like it
they
helps.
became a tree.
Build the presence of Robin Hood.
Yeah.
right. Exactly.
Robin Hood and Sherwood Forest.
They use the environment to their advantage.
Cool. So no magic otherwise. Just that.
I think not.
Not that's like directly related.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
Is Little John a euphemism?
Well, the name came from his name is John Little, and
Yeah.
when oh, Little John because he's so big. He's so big. Yeah, so
Plead the fifth.
would there still be a leader though? Would there still need to be a leader?
Completely democratic. Because the only driving force is that they're all in love with Maid Marian.
Maid Marian is the de facto leader.
But she doesn't know it. Like, her actions make the merry men, it directs them. But they don't realize that, their lives are completely intertwined with whatever she decides is happening.
Oh boy.
That's so sad.
Which, in often, a lot of the stories involve Maid Marian gets it somewhere or
Kidnapped
another
or
gets in
something.
trouble of some sort, and the merry man Robin Hood has to come and help in some way. Sometimes she doesn't really need help, but the merry men think that she needs help. Sometimes she really does need help. Sometimes they're working together. All of those things happen. A lot of different variety of adventures that way.
Right. Ooh, this is cool. I like it. Any other things? I'm trying to think of other parts of the legend that...
Are we recreating an entire legend, or are we recreating a story to be a TV series or something? Or
I have one last idea.
okay,
Real quick.
okay,
What if Robin Hood is literally a fox? That's their pet.
the magic fox that they see sometimes.
No, it's not magic. It's just a
It's
fox.
like the white stag that they sometimes see.
What if well, again they think it's magic, but it's really just an elusive fox that's just better at like navigating the forest than them, but they think it's magical.
But they want to protect it because,
Right.
like, you know, Prince John always goes on these fox hunts in Sherwood Forest, and they're like, no, we have to rob them. And they're always carrying, you know, a big amount of treasure for some reason during the fox hunts.
And usually the merry men, they kind of like fix problems and stuff, and they kind of are successful in robbing the rich, giving to the poor, but really it's like the fox is the one that's helping them out.
They offer gold to the fox. They have like a shrine set up.
Riley's like, maybe.
Well,
Like, it's not the worst idea I've heard from your mouth, Tyler, but like, it's not the greatest thing you've ever said.
they worship the fox god.
The great God, Robin Hood the Fox. It was a dumb idea, never mind.
I don't hate it. I just think it could be more integrated.
I like the idea that there's like some elusive fox that kind of becomes like a quote unquote symbol.
It's not named
Robin
Robin Hood. It's just like, there's a fox.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like kind of like Zorro almost in a way, where they like, you know, that becomes like the symbol of Robin Hood,
Right.
where
Ooh,
like they
that'd be
leave it
cool.
behind.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
They have like a, I don't know,
They
like
cross
some
stitch
sort
it
of,
onto their vests.
Yeah.
or they have like some sort of stamp or something to like
Like a
it on.
seal on letters.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Or they just, like, they befriend the fox of the forest because they feed him all the time. So like, oh, you cute little guy.
Yeah.
And then they follow them around whenever they do stuff. And so, like, whenever he robs, or whoever's playing Robin Hood at the time, like, robs a thing, then when the sheriff shows up, there's, like, just a little fox, like, just sitting there, like,
Oh.
hello.
That's the legend, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the sheriff kills the fox. I'm just kidding.
Well, he tries to, and the fox just, like,
Boop.
yeah, jumps away, and then the sheriff, like, falls over into the pile of gold and, like, hits his head, and it's always like, it's like, how Robin Hood got you again, you know, and then that even furthers the whole belief of, like,
Not only
Robin
did he kill
Hood
your
is magical.
son, but he also makes fun of
And
you.
then the fox like jumps on the sheriff of Nottingham
And pees?
and then does that, and then steals his hat.
Yes, always steals his hat.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the
and
trope.
his little
And he
fox.
has to keep getting a new hat.
Have you seen the meme of the fox that's laughing? It's kind of cute and kind of horrifying.
I think I've seen that.
I think
yeah.
I've seen it.
Equal parts cute and horrifying.
Hashtag also me.
Okay, so Robin Hood is multiple people as the
There
Merry
is
Men.
no one Robin Hood.
There is no Robin Hood. Robin's hood
Belong to Robin
belong to Robin, and they wear it in honor of him
because
the sheriff killed him.
Yes.
And the sheriff believes that Robin Hood stole his son or whatever.
at this point presumed dead because of Robin Hood.
Right. Like Deus Ex Robin Hood.
Yeah.
My son is dead. Maid Marian wants to know who Robin Hood is because he conspicuously came about at the same time her love disappeared. And so, like,
Her BFF / crush.
yeah. So she's like, something's going on here. But
She is the Laurel in this situation. If
Yeah.
anyone has seen Arrow.
But for Green Arrow
yeah.
analogy, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Green Arrow is literally based on Robin Hood.
I mean, yeah.
So
You see, like, the actual comic books, it's like, that's Robin Hood.
we Popular Apocrypha is not stealing from Green Arrow here. They stole from Robin Hood.
I
We're
mean-
just going back.
wait, are we stealing from them?
No, I
No.
don't think so.
Okay. Because I haven't seen
is
Green Arrow.
one person, so
Oh, yeah. Okay.
which sometimes like switches, but it usually comes back to Oliver Queen.
And also, nothing that this podcast ever does is derivative. We are completely original. Up and Romeo and Juliet, nothing to do with one another. Nothing at all.
I wasn't inspired by
Only
Up for that one.
so in as far as they're old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really about
And
it.
they are in love with each other.
And
And they live in a balloon castle.
And no.
And they want to go to South America.
no.
No.
And there's a giant bird.
No.
And foxes follow them around. Kind of becomes their calling card ish.
Yep.
The forest is believed to be magical, but not really? Question mark.
Right. Maybe we as a podcast don't even know if it's magical.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe it is.
Yeah.
Maybe
Some
it's
legends
not.
say it's magical, some don't.
Yes.
According to us. Yeah.
Okay. And then yeah,
Can I add one more thing?
for sure.
That the merry men swing on vines through the forest.
I like that.
Vine? Like, I'm imagining...
Like
this is
Tarzan.
supposed to be in London. Like, well, not in London, but like in Britain, right? So, are there vines in Britain?
No.
Really?
There are now.
But what we could
It's
do
like
is
vines of moss.
they attach ropes to their arrows and swing from their arrows.
Grappling arrows.
But they
Yeah.
dye them green. That way they look like vines. I'm
Yes.
trying to give you what you want, but we'll still be in a little bit...
But what if they have like an elaborate system of like transportation through there?
What if they can teleport?
No. No.
No, just straight up magic.
No, it's science.
Oh, right.
Friar
They're from the
Tuck.
future.
Friar Tuck is like a technomancer.
Oh my gosh.
Perfect.
They met up with Jack Sparrow, who gave him a teleportation gun.
No, it's
because
a water
There's
gun.
not a teleportation gun.
He found one in a treasure chest.
No. You know,
We're crossing worlds
our
here.
world of characters is becoming a little bit convoluted.
Did we ever have a character that could teleport?
I don't think so. Not yet.
Maybe it.
Sort of.
Yeah,
Debatably.
in as much as demons can teleport. It's not true
Yeah.
teleportation, it's like manifesting themselves in
Yeah.
different locations.
But it seems like one of the jokes they do on the Sheriff of Nottingham is they all dress up as Robin Hood and kind of do like the whack-a-mole thing where they're like,
Oh
hey, I'm over here.
my god, that would be
Yeah.
so
Over here.
amazing. Oh, that'd
He's
be
like,
awesome.
get them all!
Yeah.
And he sends his, like the bumbling soldiers off and they like fall off stairs. And they like pull their pants down or something.
Oh, that's so
actually,
great.
I do have two questions that just remind me of soldiers. So with the soldiers, it reminded me of, this is part of like the kingdom. So is it the Crusades? Is that still driving like kind of why the kingdom is in disarray, because a lot of people are gone and a lot of the ruling class has gone off to war? Is that the reason why it's in disarray? Why the Sheriff of Nottingham has so much temporary power?
I feel like that's not really that important to the story, is it? Because the Sheriff of Nottingham has a lot of power just because, he's like in charge of, policing the town, basically.
Right.
Only insofar as it makes Prince John.
Prince John. And that was
yeah.
my second question.
Prince
was
John
what's
is-
going on with him? That was my second
But
question.
he doesn't really know what he's doing.
No.
He's getting whispered to by Ka.
Slippery snake.
Sneaky snake. We could make Prince John.
Zuko. Oh, sorry.
What?
Emperor's New Groove.
Prince Zuko is... Wait, what?
No.
You said Prince Zuko and
Yeah,
then
I know
Emperor's
what I
New
said.
Groove. And I was like, wait a minute.
I want to combine all of these things.
Everything.
Just kidding.
We could make Prince John more powerful than he is.
What?
Maybe make Prince John kill King Richard.
Okay.
And so King Richard,
But no one knows this.
yeah, so he's off to the Crusades, but he's never actually coming back.
It's one of those secretly poisoned things.
Yeah, and so Prince John is like,
I see.
we're just waiting until the king comes back.
The Crusades don't actually exist. That's just...
It's fake news.
Hashtag fake news.
It's just people went off to the Middle East.
Disclaimer, the Crusades actually happened, they were terrible. But in this world.
maybe they were like... This, I'm not saying this is true.
Right.
Maybe like they weren't actually a thing, and they were just like a thing to like send off soldiers to.
All propaganda.
Which inadvertently created the Crusades.
Oh, okay.
And like they're like, there's nothing happening over here,
that
so we
sounds
have
like
to create
something-
our own drama.
That sounds like something that a government would actually do.
No, the Crusades was
well, and that's Prince
oriented by
John.
the Pope, right? Not by this little township that
I
they're
don't
in.
remember. I think it was a lot of like just like
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
the
we have
church,
to kill
but the
the
church
Muslims.
and the royals were not that distinguishable.
So maybe, yeah.
It's Prince John trying to get more power. Like he kills King Richard, says
what if Prince John's actually just like kind of a nice guy? Like, but he's naive, and so he doesn't really take care of the kingdom. Thus, it is in the state that it is. But he just wants everything to just stay the same. It's like it's fine.
what if he's like Joffrey age?
Ugh.
I kind of want...
I hated Joffrey. The actor
'Cause
did such
you're
a good
supposed
job.
to.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
actor did a great job.
In the movie, it was like the sheriff and Prince John were together
Yeah.
connected fighting against Robin
Yeah,
Hood.
I feel like that wouldn't be accurate necessarily because I feel like Prince John would have more.
Pressing matters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be more the sheriff's job.
Yeah.
To take care of
he
those
might put
terrorists.
pressure every now and then on the sheriff, but like otherwise, he has like a kingdom to actually kind of run.
But also, kind of like there's like a personal stake there because, like Robin Hood has humiliated him like in front of his his subjects.
Let's just
too.
make
That's
it
true.
all connected and have the sheriff v. Robin Hood.
Dawn of Justice.
Yes, but Robin Hood is also connected to Maid Marian, and Maid Marian is more interested in the political intrigue going on with Prince John. But
She wants to take down the kingdom.
well, she wants to
She's an
expose.
anarchist.
She wants to expose what's going on politically.
Okay.
And so the sheriff is very like 1v1. This is like physical matters that are happening. People are stealing gold and like robbing and all this stuff. My issue is with Robin Hood. Prince John is like, there's this noblewoman that's trying to rout me out.
Right.
And then they're connected because it's Robin Hood and Maid Marian, and then
Marian
the sheriff
is
and Prince
Robin.
John become connected. Sheriff and Prince
Right.
John become connected because they're both kind of. It's like a multiple world.
And Maid
Love
Marian.
it.
And Maid Marian is like kind of subtly behind the scenes, like controlling Robin Hood and his merry men
But
to
does she know that?
interact with like political. No, she's trying to because
Oh, okay.
she's like trying to usurp the
Okay.
king or like. But the merry men don't necessarily know that. They're just thinking like, oh, there's a good possibility for stealing from the rich here.
Right.
And then there's
So.
this huge turncoat event at the end where like we got played, but is that necessarily a bad thing?
Maid Marian becomes queen and she kills off all of the merry men.
Wait, did we just uncover the real story here?
Well, she maybe, I don't know if we want to go that dark. She kills who she thinks is Robin Hood, and then he keeps coming back because
I
it's
feel like
not
that's
just-
something like Prince John has to do, or the sheriff has to do.
Right. So maybe she's just constantly trying to figure change the political climate, and then the merry men are very interested in like material matters, like giving food and like getting gold, and so then you have like two warring factions on the material level and the political level. And so then if you're like reading it or watching it, you can switch between, oh, cool, action, and then like, ooh, political intrigue, and it just switches back and forth each chapter.
And eventually, the merry men become MI6 because instead of killing them, Maid Marian becomes queen and then establishes them as like an actual government entity, and they become James Bond.
They
Full
become
circle.
James Bond.
They become MI6.
What's the? No, there is an organization that James Bond belongs to. It's
Isn't it
Is MI6?
maybe in the
Wait,
universe.
is that Mission Impossible?
Yes.
That's
No?
Mission Impossible.
No, but
Wait.
MI6 is like Mission Impossible 6 is a movie. MI6 is also
Movie. Yeah.
but it's also
And
the
a series.
organization. It's the Secret Service for Britain.
Okay, Google.
MI6 is the secret
What
intelligence service
organization
that
does
James
James
Bond
Bond
belongs
belong
to. Yes, it's MI6, the secret intelligence
Yeah.
service.
And I think there's also been a Mission Impossible 6. So there are
Have
two.
there been that many? That's not really.
I don't know.
It's also known as the Secret Intelligence Service. So
That's-
that must be what I heard,
yeah.
but it's also MI6.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Anyway.
boom, Robin Hood equals James Bond. Full
Maybe
circle.
not that far, but I enjoy
no.
the political intrigue.
Eventually, it like
They become-
morphs into that organization. It's
Some mythical. They become Sasquatch.
what?
Some modern legend.
The merry men split ways, and some of them become Sasquatch, and
Some
of them
become
become
Yetis.
MI6.
Some would become the Loch Ness Monster.
Oh my god.
I'm uncomfortable. Anything else in our last few minutes? I think it's great.
I've got something. If you've listened to the podcast, you've heard us talk about Audible. Because it's great. The award-winning audiobook service has over 180,000 titles to choose from, and you can listen to them on almost any device that you have. Audible would like to give you a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial as a listener of this podcast. Whether it's The Merry Adventures of Robin Hood by Howard Pyle, or one of your favorite novels, or one of the Robin Hood fan fiction / romance novels, you can listen to it with Audible. Or you can listen to maybe Ready Player One, as narrated by Will Wheaton, since that movie just came out. Might be better than going to see the movie, you tell me. Download your free audiobook today by going to audibletrial.com/popapoc. Again, that's audibletrial.com/popapoc for your free audiobook and month-long trial. Signing up is not only great for you, but it helps us too. So thanks. And thanks to Audible.
Yay!
Thanks, Audible.
Yeah.
I guess that was the last thing.
I love you, random citizen.
And I love you.
So do you guys have any final thoughts?
I like the Robin Hood mythos we've created.
Me
I
too.
also enjoy it.
I love like every single episode that we do.
Aw.
So.
Well, because this also like opens the door to like there could be a lot of individual stories that could come from this.
Yeah,
Which just
sure.
kind of established
Tons.
a context.
For sure.
Yeah.
Which I think with a mythical character like Robin Hood, it's better to tackle context. But I agree. I'm super excited to see, like, if one story is like Robin Hood, swooning Maid Marian, but Maid Marian's like, no, you need to help me infiltrate this ball to figure out, like, what's going on here. And he shows up, and she doesn't know that he's Robin Hood because he's one of many Robin Hoods, but he's able to just slide in because no one, like, knows who
Slide
he is.
into those DMs.
Into the DMs, yeah. And then at the exact same time, there's a Robin Hood somewhere else. It's like, so he gets this reputation of, like, he's everywhere at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm imagining, like, a comedic subplot where Maid Marian is, like, on a date with one of the Robin Hoods, right?
Yeah.
And then the next day, another of the Robin Hoods, like, comes to, like, swoon her because they're all in love with her, obviously.
Obviously.
And so she's like, remember that thing you told me yesterday? And he's like, yes. Why don't you remind me?
Or then, like, one of the Robin Hoods is like, let me take you back to meet my merry men, to submit his place as the Robin Hood in her mind.
I see.
And then he takes her back, and then all the other merry men are like, well played.
Eventually that would probably happen. I mean, really.
Yeah. But as long as they're all wearing the disguise.
Or what if it's like a 2 dates to the ball situation where Maid Marian has to keep, like, going back and forth between them?
Yeah. Ooh, okay, very last thing I'd like to add. Very last thing. So they wear the hood, right?
Yeah.
That, like, I'm picturing a hood that, like, kind of covers their head and, like, kind of becomes a scarf thing.
Yeah.
But also, like, a wrap that covers their mouth so that it just has their upper face. But I want them all to have that, like, kind of creepy, kind of cool mask aesthetic.
Yeah.
Where they wear, like, perhaps a, what's the... Is it just a mask ball? Is that what it's called?
A what?
Like when they... Or masquerade.
A masquerade.
Oh, yeah.
So but the top is a custom masquerade mask that looks like a fox.
Yes.
Okay. It's a subtle
yes.
fox, though.
Yes.
Yes, subtle. Very subtle. But, like, so then they're completely covered except for just the eyes.
Much yes.
And so then maybe later on, Maid Marian realizes when she's looking at one Robin Hood, he has brown eyes versus another one has blue eyes, and she's like, something's going on.
going on.
Oh, okay.
And also, eventually, of course, there would probably be some sort of crossover between Jack Sparrow and Robin Hood, right?
Do they exist at the same time?
Or Scurvybeard and Robin Hood?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because Scurvybeard exists in every universe we make.
They go to the coast one time, and then Scurvybeard's ships just comes over, and you hear in the distance, oranges.
Yar, gotta get me some of the New England citrus fruits.
One of the Robin Hoods is just pelted in the face by an orange.
Like slow motion.
Is that
like,
sorry to go back to Scurrybeard, but is that what Scurrybeard loads his cannons with?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. They have to be grapefruits, though. They're big.
Grapefruit for grape shot. So instead of using actual, like, cannonballs for grape shot, he just shoots grapefruit out at people.
How many boats does he lose because other people sink him?
He's always trying to repair his boat holes with oranges because it's the perfect size. He's like, please.
His boat holes.
Okay, maybe we should do the pit now.
He shoves grapefruits in his boat holes.
Okay, let's calm down.
Whoa.
Scurvybeard.
Before we get to the pit, don't forget to leave us a review on iTunes. It really helps us out way more than you know.
Yes,
or
please.
wherever you get your podcasts, we're on there. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think, other than Spotify, which I'm trying to get us on, I don't think we're missing anywhere
Which doesn't
else.
really do well with podcasts anyway.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
Not yet. They're working on it, but we'll see.
I completely validate my own worth by listening to others' opinions of myself, so help me out.
Well,
All right.
pressure.
Also, check out our previous episodes for more great content.
We have 21 of them.
Etc. You can find us on social media through Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Plus, we'd love to hear from you on our website, popapoc.com. Again, that's POPAPOC. That's generally where you can find us if you search that. We'd also like to remind you that we're still working on putting together that Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign that we've mentioned before. So be looking for those announcements. Those will be eventually coming up on our socials. And
Get some better audio.
You guys have anything else? Let's do the pit. I've got it ready to go.
Yay.
I'm raising my arms, exposing my pits.
Thanks, Riley.
It's
Alright.
Robin Hood, Little John, walking through the forest, trying to get away.
Let's see.
Ooh-la-la, ooh-la-la, golly, what
We got,
it is.
wow, kind of another classic character.
I'm ready. Wait.
Pan.
Whoa!
Peter
Okay.
Pan.
Kind of in the same realm.
Kind of.
I feel like Peter Pan was slightly inspired by Robin Hood.
Maybe one of the
both
other
wear green.
Green. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll find out.
They both fly.
Yep. They both don't age. Well, maybe
Because he's multiple. Oh my god.
Well, guess what we can't do for Peter Pan now?
Have it be multiple people. That's fine. Cool,
Yeah,
I'm excited.
That'll be our next character, Peter Pan.
Good work, boys. All right.
cool.
Are you ready to call it for today?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Unless, do you guys have any last words, any advice for our listeners?
Don't forget to eat your citrus.
I mean, I can't top that. You can't top Scurvy Beard.
He split Robin's arrow in twain.
Marble countertops cannot.
Melt steel beams.
That's not where I was going. You can't set glassware on marble countertops because the water ring will actually eat into the marble. Marble's one of the few countertop types that water ruins the countertop.
And when you're eating an inside-out watermelon, don't forget to check the pit.
Right. So get quartz
and
countertops.
put it on a stake because then you don't have to use your hands.
Yeah, less messy.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us on this episode.
You
As
can use
always,
tongs. You could do that too.
hashtag you can use tongs. We expect to see that trending next week, at the end of this week. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
You know that America made the Apollo 11 spacecraft specifically for you, milady.